Welcome to Lesson 6 in Unit 4, River Rescue. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, what can we do to clean up the Mississippi River? In this lesson, students use pushes and pulls to develop and test solutions. They compare solutions and analyze how the shape of a tool works better to push or pull an object. They make observations of creative solutions to garbage. They incorporate their ideas into a final solution. Students figure out that some shapes work better to push and others work better to pull. They figure out that solutions can be designed to help clean up the garbage in the water and that humans can work to solve problems. Students make connections to the storyline by working to solve the problem of garbage in the Mississippi River. There are several opportunities for ELA, math, and social studies cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 4 teacher guide. This lesson will take approximately 5 days to complete. You will begin the engage portion of this lesson by reminding students of the research they have done about the garbage in the Mississippi River and how pushes and pulls could be used to help clean it. Then, you will introduce the book This Class Can Save the Planet by Stacy Tornillo. You will use the Read Aloud guide found in the Unit 4 teacher guide to support student thinking and discussions as you read. This Read Aloud presents an opportunity to attend to equity. Students can share if they've ever felt a problem was too big. What did they do? How did they handle it? Remind students that they have power and can work together to change the world. Next, you will show students the engineering design cycle. You will ask students what they have done so far in the engineering design cycle to remind students that once engineers have gathered information on a problem, they use what they've learned to design solutions. Students will use the engineering design cycle to think about how pushes and pulls might help get garbage out of the Mississippi River. Then, you will revisit the driving question board and add any new questions and highlight others connected to the learning goals of this lesson by calling attention to questions about solving the problem or helping clean up the river. If no questions directly relate, use prompts to build on student questions. In the Explore portion of this lesson, students will create a physical model that represents a way to push or pull the garbage out of the Mississippi River. You will put students into partners to share their ideas for possible solutions. Have them use their Moving the Garbage student journal page from Lesson 5 to share their thoughts. If desired, students can take this time to update their ideas. This section includes an opportunity to utilize differentiation strategies. If students are struggling to come up with ideas in the brainstorm, ask questions about how they can push or pull objects or what are some ways they've seen trash removed from their homes. Continue asking questions about pushes or pulls or other ways to move objects. Have students swap partners and share their initial ideas. Then, you will set up the river cleanup investigation. The detailed procedure for this activity can be found in Lesson 6, River Cleanup Teacher Instructions. To prepare this investigation, you will prepare enough materials for each engineering team. Each team should have the garbage items from Lesson 2, a spoon, a fork, 2 Dixie cups, and 20 pipe cleaners. Fill each clear container halfway with water. Introduce the tools students will use to push and pull the garbage out of the water. Let students know that they will use the tools to design and test different ways to pull the garbage from the water. The materials can be used individually or combined to push or pull objects out of the water. To begin the investigation, you will return students to their engineering teams of 4. The detailed procedure for this activity can be found in Lesson 6 River Cleanup Teacher Instructions, and detailed as follows. The first step, so once you have put students in their engineering teams of 4, you will show students the different materials they will be using to design their solutions. Next, you will ask, which tools do you think might work well as a solution? Why? How can we find out if they will work or not? Then, you will invite students to continue working in their engineering teams to investigate and test different tools. Students will follow the procedure on the screen to complete this investigation. Take a second to press pause and read through the student procedure. During this investigation, students will test out different ideas to push and pull garbage out of the river and record their observations on the River Cleanup Investigation student journal page. From this investigation, students will observe that they can use the tools to push or pull objects from the water and that tools can be combined in different ways to create different solutions. In the explain portion of this lesson, you will invite students to gather in a circle to share their findings from solution testing. Use the question table below to guide your discussion around the question, what can we do to clean up the Mississippi River? This section provides an opportunity to attend to equity. Engineering design is an interactive and social process. Giving space for students to reflect on the strengths and weaknesses of their design allows them to learn through failure. Engaging students across engineering teams in discussions allows students to expand their ideas and ways of thinking. The goal of your class discussion is for teams to analyze data from their investigations to communicate what worked in their solution to create the Lesson 6 summary chart. See the assessment tracker for guidance on this formative assessment. From this discussion, students will understand that they can use tools to push or pull garbage out of the water. Tools can be combined to work together. Students will understand that they can solve the problem of garbage in the Mississippi River and that getting rid of the garbage will help the living things in the river and will make the river clean. In the elaborate portion of this lesson, students will explore creative ways to clean up the river and incorporate ideas into their final solutions. You will facilitate a discussion and ask students, what do you think happens to the garbage after it gets pulled from the water? Can you think of any creative or artsy ways to use the garbage instead? After your initial discussion, you will display the following images detailing how people are cleaning up garbage in the water and repurposing it into something useful. You will show the images on the following slides to students for observations. As you show students each image, have students work in their teams to make observations about what is happening in each photo. Then ask 1 to 2 students to share their observations. See the assessment tracker for guidance on this formative assessment. Teaching tip: you can support students with their observations by pointing out specific parts of each solution. Model think alouds by saying, I notice. Then, students will work in their teams and draw their final ideas for a solution in their Mississippi River Rescue Journal page. Solutions should include familiar tools from their investigations, whether they push or pull out of the water, and what they would like to do to the garbage after it's collected. In the Evaluate portion of this lesson, you will have students use their Mississippi River Rescue Journal page to present their final river cleanup solutions, or hold a class gallery walk so students can see all of the final solutions. Have students use the peer feedback table tent to identify one thing they like, one question they have, and one suggestion they have about classmates' solutions. See the assessment tracker for guidance on this formative assessment. Use the assessment tracker and summative performance rubric for guidance to evaluate students on their final project. Then, you will invite students to gather in a circle to review what they've learned about the problem of garbage in the water and how humans can work to clean it up. The goal of this class discussion is for teams to revisit the learning throughout the unit and to wrap up the unit. As students share, combine their findings to finish the Lesson 6 summary chart. To support student sense making across the unit, orient students back to the driving question board. Ask students, did we answer any of the questions on our driving question board? Are there any questions we haven't answered? Try to wrap up any final questions on the driving question board before the end of the unit. Teaching tip: if students have many questions that remain unanswered, try to schedule some class research time or research the answers and share with the class. In the optional Extend portion of this lesson, students will explore upcycled art. Students can explore creating their own art masterpieces from garbage. Save and clean your recycling, or ask the school to collect and store empty cardboard boxes, bottles, or plastic containers for students to design and construct art sculptures. Once built, they can have an art-focused gallery walk. Students may also explore trash collection boats. If desired, show a video of a real trash collecting boat. Have students make connections between their solutions and the real-life engineering solutions. Lead a discussion about how engineers are designing solutions to the same real-world problems they worked on in the classroom. Both extension opportunities include a chance to attend to equity. Students apply what they've learned in this unit through an artistic lens and through a real-world example. They are able to focus on creating art through problem solving and comparing their solutions to real-life engineering solutions. By the end of this lesson, students will have used pushes and pulls to develop and test solutions that move garbage out of the water, and compared and communicated solutions that move garbage out of the water. Lesson 6 is the final lesson for Section 2 in Unit 4. This is an opportunity to refer to the Section 2 performance levels to summatively assess student progress for this section. The end of this unit has an Attending to Equity callout. Have students use a self-check form to evaluate their own learning in this section. This is an instructional tool that can be used as a metacognitive practice for students to reflect on their learning, express their engagement and excitement levels for the topics they have learned so far. This tool will also allow students to reflect on their science, identities, and community. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.